Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Northern Kentucky Spotlight Podcast, presented by CVG. I'm your host, Sarah Brookbank. Today on the podcast, we are joined by Kenton County Judge Executive Kris Knochelmann, who talks about Kenton County's new filing wizard, which is helping businesses file their tax returns easier. On NKY at Work, Nancy Spivey is joined by Rob Hudson of Frost Brown Todd, who discusses the FTC's recent proposal that could make non-competes illegal. Thank you to our podcast sponsors, CVG, our title sponsor, C Crew Consulting, our digital sponsor, and our episode sponsor, Haran. Get pumped for March Madness with NKYP at our upcoming Hoops and Brews event. Join NKYP on Thursday, March 16th at the Loft at Braxton Brewing Company for an exclusive opportunity with the St. Elizabeth Foundation to network and enjoy complimentary drinks and appetizers while watching your favorite games on the big screen. This event is free, but it is only open to young professionals. You can register now for this event at nkychamber.com/events. Now, let's go meet our members of the week, hear from our sponsors, and Nancy and I will be back with your guests.
CVG Airport is the lowest fare airport in the tri-state region with 54 nonstop flights and direct international service to 7 destinations, including Paris, France, and now home to both DHL's and Amazon's global cargo hubs. The airport is furthering its position as leader in aviation and is deeply committed to being an economic driver for the community. You can learn more and start your next adventure at cvgairport.com.
Ranking on Google Search and Maps is easy to understand, but hard to do. It requires constant effort and attention, uploading new photos, responding to Google reviews, writing weekly posts, and checking suggested updates. Google listing optimization takes experience and time, and there are no shortcuts. C Crew gives your Google My Business account the steady, consistent attention it needs to be effective, optimizing, updating, and expanding critical content every single week. From local retail stores to large regional networks, C Crew generates content, establishes benchmarks, and creates dramatic, measurable increases in engagement. So what can C Crew do for your business? More calls, more clicks, more clients.
Congratulations to our members of the week. You can learn more about these businesses by following the Northern Kentucky Chamber on social media, where we will highlight one of these businesses each day. Now, let's meet our members of the week. Everything Cincy is a one-stop shop to provide promotions for businesses and deals for consumers, which gives users access to learn about everything Cincy and Northern Kentucky has to offer. Sweets and Meats Barbecue is an award-winning full-service caterer and food truck specializing in smoked meats, homemade sides, and desserts. In the Curious Kitchen is an online shop and lifestyle blog providing made-in-Kentucky bourbon-themed gifts, mint julep kits, and Southern-inspired foods. Forthright People was founded by 2 marketing industry pros with diverse professional backgrounds and a combined 40-plus years of brand-building experience. Cora's Cakery is a bakery specializing in elegantly delicious desserts, including cakes and cupcakes, with a mission to spread elegance through baking. Hi, everyone. I am joined by our Judge Executive, Kris Knochelmann for Kenton County. Judge, thank you so much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thanks for the invitation.
Yes, so we are talking about a new thing that you guys are launching, a filing wizard for businesses. Tell me a little bit about this project and what this tool is.
Yeah, well, we want to make sure that the name filing wizard doesn't mean that it can do everything, but this is a huge first step. We collect business licenses and occupational licenses for 15 cities in Kenton County. The main city we don't do is for the city of Covington at this point, but we wanted to make sure that there was something online that would be easier to pay those fees that are annual. And this is what we've come up with over the development over the past really 6 months or so. And to develop this finally to make it easier so you don't have to just fill out a paper document and or something even online that was difficult. We're now trying to make this an easy online tool.
Right, and so when does this program launch for business owners?
Well, really it'll become available later this month, towards the end of February. So during this tax filing period that would take us into April, this will allow those businesses to file it then. And the main users, while you're still your CPAs, organization, people like that, may still want to do it on paper because they're doing a lot of work and those tools. This allows for especially those who are small business owners filing it themselves, who really know their numbers but don't want to be overwhelmed by some crazy document that looks like it was a federal or state tax return.
Right.
This, we want to make sure it's more intuitive and the regular person can fill out and make it easier to do business in the county.
Yeah, so you kind of touched on the why and who this will help. So kind of touch on why you guys started this project overall.
Well, we just realized that, years and years ago, and the Chamber was a part of that, where the effort was to have one source of collecting all these multiple rates, multiple taxes among all the cities in Kenton County. Well, that turned into a document, and it's big, and it's a lot of your bureaucratic mumbo jumbo on it. And so while it was a great initiative and it was a great first step, we looked at this and said, well, how do we consolidate this into something that's a little more intuitive and really bring it into to modern era? Now, as we all know, technology changes.
Right.
This now gives us the tool to develop this online. So you can go on there. It allows you to simply say, I'm doing business in these cities. This is where I have payroll. This is where I actually own property. Click, click, click. You enter the numbers, and it gives you the real number that you have to remit back to the county that then we can then send to the cities because we collect for them.
Right, and the only exception is Covington, correct?
Correct, that's right.
Yeah, so for those of you working in and out of Covington, unfortunately, this is not the tool for you yet, but are you guys looking to expand this at all? Like, what's the next steps? I know you guys offer a lot of services online, trying to make it a lot easier for people to do business in Kenton County.
Well, and to be clear, the city of Covington in Kenton County does participate in the business license. So when someone wants to do business in all the cities in Kenton County, you can go online, and that does include the city of Covington. So they've been a partner there. This is primarily for the business license, the occupational at the end of the year, and and kind of doing the final end of year tax return for all the cities. That is everyone but the city of Covington. And really, where it's available, we're hoping this is such a hit that both not just small business owners, but the CPA firms, et cetera. And then we'd love to and my dream would be to make this available for either other entities, other counties, other cities, other counties. But again, there's no commitment from anyone, and then we're just presenting that to them now. So we want to have this year be the good testing year. Mm-hmm. We believe we've gotten the bugs out of it. Hopefully, there's something that we will find easily. That if we have any bugs, we'll fix them, and then we can present it to others in the coming months and hopefully in the coming years.
Yeah, well, that is so exciting that you've created this tool to make it a little bit easier. What other online services are available to businesses? Well,
referring back to the business license, you can go online today. So if someone's wondering, wow, I wonder if I'm up to date on that, they can go on there today, get the county-wide license or city by city. Of course, actually file their quarterly occupational. And then we have one of the other areas of the filing wizard. We believe that here towards the end of the year, you can actually be able to download your occupational data. So your payroll service would be able to download a file and bring it right into the system. So there's none of this, sending in paperwork and all this kind of thing. But in terms of the filing wizard, also today, the business license, and then you can actually print off your final the final amount you'll owe, pay it by credit card, which will be the first time ever, thank God, or get a receipt and send it in by check.
Yeah, very nice. So before I let you go, is there anything else you want to share about what you guys are doing to make business easier in Kenton County, or anything else about the filing wizard?
Well, I would say ultimately it's not always easy, but this is a first step. And if anyone has ideas on what we can do to make it even easier to partner, especially for those businesses who are doing business across city lines, we want to make sure that those ideas, we're open for those ideas and suggestions. We have an occupational license we just made some adjustment on. A lot of people don't really care for that, but ultimately we understand we're trying to shift some of our collection more to the occupational side and less from the property side. But those are all challenges we're dealing with on a daily basis. But in terms of this software and ideas, we just want to know that we're open for business. We want to be supportive of business, I should say, and make sure that anyone who has ideas, please let us know what we can do to make it easier.
Yeah, well, Judge Knochelmann, thank you so much for joining us today
Thanks
on the podcast.
Thanks so much. You bet.
Hi, I'm Nancy Spivey, Vice President of Talent Strategies for the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. And on today's NKY Work segment, we're joined by Rob Hudson. Rob's a familiar face with the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce. Rob, tell us a little bit about this non-compete clause regulation that's happening right now.
Well, first, thanks for giving me the opportunity to address it. Early this year, the FTC, a federal agency, proposed a regulation that would essentially ban all non-competes in the country, which would reverse more than 100 years of case law and freedom to contract. It was truly an extraordinary development.
Do we feel like that was something that was coming down the pike, or do you think people were caught off guard by it? Or
the FTC had announced that they were going to try to do something, but this was, yes, people were caught off guard. In fact, when I first read it, I had to read it 3 times just to believe it. It was so sweeping, and keeping in mind that this is one branch of the federal government without having passed a law. This is an agency, and they would literally declare void retroactively tens of millions of contracts across the country.
I know, and for us being a membership organization, obviously the impact to our members is huge. Can you tell us a little bit about what is the impact or potential impact to employers?
Yeah, companies use non-competes to protect their training investments, to protect their customer bases, to protect their confidential proprietary business information. It's a fundamental part of doing business. Now, anyone who signs a non-compete, they don't like it. And they're probably really happy that the federal government's trying to do this. But the reality is, why do we invest money in training people if our competitor can just pay the individual $1,000 more a year and misappropriate the training that we've given them or paid for? Mm-hmm. And businesses are going to make logical business decisions. If this proposed regulation were to become final, they're going to have to restructure the way they do things. And right now, the way we can do things is efficient. We can more safely invest in training. With advanced manufacturing in particular, you're talking often a year, 2 years learning curve where the company's losing money on that individual. And of course a competitor is willing to pay a little bit more. They didn't spend the first year or 2 years training the individual. If this were to become final, and I don't think it ever will become final for lots of reasons, but if it were, we would have a fundamental problem with respect to training, investments, and other business protections.
Well, and I even think about IT professionals and all that's required for those certifications and retraining and upskilling. We all know technology is ever changing, and so it definitely has an impact on a lot of different industries, correct?
Yeah, and the key for me is, especially as a father, I'm always thinking, okay, I want to make sure my kids have the best opportunities, and assuming one of my children had wanted to be in advanced manufacturing, and they're smart kids, but they don't really know anything about manufacturing. Would someone be willing to invest and lose money on them if they thought that the person could just go to a competitor? No, what they would do is, and this happens in a lot of European countries where, you're looking for an experienced person, you're not willing to invest, and often there are fewer opportunities for younger people. And these are the very best jobs, the advanced manufacturing jobs for someone who doesn't want to go to 7 years of college. And I really hate to see us moving in the wrong direction.
So to that end, if I'm an employer, what can I do, and what's the timing on all of this right now?
Yeah, it's a proposed regulation. The comment period stretches into March, and then there's a 180-day period after it becomes final before it becomes effective. But it retroactively wipes out all the non-competes in the country. And so you would expect there to be legal challenges. I would expect that the final regulation, once they try to propose it, is going to be scaled back in some way. But I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. The legal challenges are going to be substantial, and they're already being drafted. And for all I know, we already have 1 or 2 out there that have already been filed that I don't know about. And so what can people do about it? Support their chambers of commerce and their business advocacy organizations. Because, don't assume that they're going to have enough money to fight this fight legally. Don't assume that they're going to have companies that are going to be willing to go on the public record and make comments about these issues. A lot of companies shy away from that sort of public controversy and are very reluctant to fund these legal battles. But when we have one branch of the federal government trying to do this much to business, if you agree or disagree with it, it still is a head scratcher. and so these challenges are going to be ongoing. Most legal commentators, or at least many, don't think that the proposed regulation will ever see the final light of day. But when you try to predict legal outcomes, sometimes it's a little more like a roll of the dice.
Sure. Do you have any idea why they even thought this was a good idea, or?
Oh, because if you only look at this from one side, then, yay, no more non-competes. But when
Free
you look
business.
at it, and when you look at it from the other perspective of how do we grow good jobs, how do we encourage investment in this country as opposed to our neighboring countries? Capital's going to go naturally where it can be most profitable. New jobs are going to be built where they can be efficiently built and grown. And so I would encourage anyone who's thinking about this issue, because I know it's a very controversial topic, to just take a step back and think about why businesses do what they do and how do they distinguish themselves from their competitors. We need an environment that encourages the business's ability to be efficient and to distinguish itself and to win in the marketplace. Non-competes do a lot of that for businesses.
Very good. All right. Anything else you want to add before we close?
No, I just again appreciate the Northern Kentucky Chamber, and if anyone has questions, comments, or they want to get involved, this is the place to call. This is the place to become active, because the Chamber's looking out for us. We're doing our regular jobs, and yet the people at the Chamber are looking out for us and allowing us to do our regular jobs. And so we're grateful for you.
We really
and for
appreciate you. We really do. Thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Shannon Schumacher, Account Executive, Kentucky Market Leader. At Haran, we champion bold innovation to help employers and individuals thrive. As an industry thought leader, we explore new horizons in healthcare, benefits, employee engagement, and wellness. We work harder to deliver all the strategic benefits, planning, and execution you expect from a true partner. And we do it with laser focus on your short and long-term outcomes to help manage your benefits while improving your employee experience.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you learned a couple of things from Judge Knochelmann and from Rob of Frost Brown Todd today. Thank you again to our podcast sponsors, CVG, Sea-Crew Consulting, and Haran. Don't forget to register for Hoops and Brews coming up on March 16th if you are an NKYP. That is going to be a really fun and exciting event. Finally, if you are a member who would like to be featured on the podcast, or if you're someone who is interested in joining the Northern Kentucky Chamber of Commerce, please reach out to Lynn Ablin. And if you're interested in sharing your workforce strategies and resources on NKY at Work, please reach out to Nancy Spivey. You can find both of their contact information on the screen in front of you or at our website at our staff directory. Thanks for tuning in. We'll talk to you guys next week.